This is music, and this is Hexenhaus, The Edge of Eternity. So, welcome to another episode where I highlight an item from my collection and basically just talk about it, or ramble, I guess, on about it. And today we're going to have a look at this one here, Edge of Eternity by Hexenhaus. Hexenhaus, Swedish band, technical thrash metal, progressive thrash metal, maybe even. And a lot of the members of this band would end up actually pretty much all of the instrumentalists would end up joining Memento Mori, the Messiah Marcolin fronted doom metal band. This album here, The Edge of Eternity, is from 1990, and it's out on Active Records, as far as Active Records. It's technical thrash metal, and I picked this one up and on Accords. I think it was Accord on their in their web shop, while I was looking for some thrash metal to add to my collection. And I was kind of intrigued by the Memento Mori connection, and there's also a King Diamond connection as well. So I figured, you know what, I'll pick this up, second hand version. So it's an original release or original version. I don't know if it's the original pressing, but it's from back then. Okay, so it probably is an OG. And so I kind of like this cover artwork. It kind of has like a science fiction-y feel to it. And it's from 1990. So I don't know, this here, that's probably just me being weird, but this here kind of reminds me of, I don't know, a Borg cube. It's probably not what it's supposed to be. It's probably supposed to be a circuit board. Yeah, it's a circuit board, but it reminds me of a Borg cube. And there's as you can see, the glare here kind of reveals that there's a bit of ring wear, but that's okay. The logo is really awesome. I really like this logo. It does kind of have more like a satanic, maybe even like proto black metal feel to it, but that's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with technical progressive thrash metal. This is what the back looks like. So very, I would say, like late 80s, early 90s band shot. And you have Active Records logo up here. And you have, of course, noticed that there's this label up here. And there's like a sticker down here. And the label is just, there's like a code on it, and it says Edge of Eternity, and then it says Hexenhaus. I'll return to this. I mean, kind of annoying with a sticker like this on the jacket here, but I'm not annoyed by it. I kind of like it, and I will mention why in a minute. First, there's this inner sleeve here with some lyrics and another very late 80s, early 90s band photo. And the album itself is just on black vinyl. And so it has the blue, in this case, the blue Active Records center label, and as you can see, there's a sticker on it, and I don't know if you can see it, there's also like a stamp on it, and the stamp says Ballerup Nærradio. So what that is It's a local radio station in like a sort of a satellite town to Copenhagen called Ballerup. So of course it was the radio station that picked up or that added this sticker. So I think I actually appreciate it. I'm not gonna try to remove this sticker because it'll probably ruin the jacket anyways, but I kind of like the thought of having an album that was owned by a local radio station, sort of like in a satellite town in the early 90s, knowing that they played technical progressive thrash metal in the ether on a local radio station. I like that. I think that's pretty cool. So there you go. But that's the sort of the outer sleeve story, or really like speculation on my part, right? But I like it. I'm actually very happy now that there's this sticker, because one of the things I like about buying secondhand OGs, or not necessarily OGs, but secondhand albums that were released back when they actually came out, or were pressed when they came out, is that they were owned by someone else, and they had a life, right? There was a story. They've seen, okay, I'm personifying them, right? But you know what I mean, right? There's like a story to them. They've been part of somebody else's life, and now they're part of my collection. And I like that. I think that's a lot of collectors kind of like that. So there you go. So what are we dealing with here musically? Well, we're dealing with, as I said, technical, progressive thrash metal. And sort of the key member here is Mike Weed, who was also known for his connection with King Diamond. So that's, of course, pretty cool to me, because I'm a King Diamond fan. And there's also a Memento Mori connection. And I really like the first Memento Mori album. And you can actually hear that in some of the performance, some of the compositions here, especially the guitar work. There are actually some elements, sort of the more Middle Eastern sounding parts, that you also find on that first Memento Mori album. So I think that's very cool to find that on a thrash metal album like this. The version I have has a bit of warpage, unfortunately, and it is audible a tiny bit in the opening. And that's called Prelude, and it's a short sort of instrumental piano-based part, very atmospheric, and sort of this is where I can hear a bit of the warpage on my pressing. It's not bad, and it actually adds a bit of creepiness to the prelude. So I think I kind of appreciate it. Right? You gotta see positive things, right? As I said, I mean that's only in that section where I can hear the warpage, and that's just part of when you're collect vinyls, right? I mean, sometimes you'll get warped records. I think it's okay when it's like a second-hand old one, that it's slightly warped. If it's like a new pressing, that's not good, right? Anyways, Prelude, a cool little instrumental with an added creepiness on my version here. That's followed by a song called Toxic Threat, which is a very aggressive song, and the riffage sounds almost like insanity inducing. It's very, I mean, it's aggressive, but also kind of strange, very precise picking. That's actually really impressive, how precise the picking is. Lots of variation on the first song here, lots of changes. There is a really heavy, almost like doom metal, maybe a precursor to Memento Mori element in the bridge. Toxic Threat, very, very good song, I think. Great, I mean, Prelude is the opener, but a great first proper track, right? And it's followed by a song called Prime Evil. Evil, like EVIL, right? And this is cool, and it's kind of groovy in a strange way, not like Pantera groove metal like that, but it is kind of groovy. And it has this build up that is kind of groovy. And one of the things I like about this song is that the guitars kind of play with the stereo effect as well. So they're panned out a bit, and that always creates like a cool, if you can exploit that, a cool listening experience. Right, so if you have two guitarists, why not explore it or exploit it like that? Of course, you can get a really heavy wall of guitar sound with two guitarists, but you can also like exploit the stereo effect and pan it out a bit and have them do slightly different things. Works. It's a heavy to mid-tempo thrasher, Primeval, another great song. The next one is called Home Sweet Home, parenthesis, Ward, Sweet Ward. So obviously insanity is the theme there. It's I would say primarily a mid-tempo thrasher again. There are some up-tempo fast parts. There are some pretty cool sort of like acoustic guitar parts that kind of pop up every now and then. Works very well. And it's of course like an insanity themed song. Lyrically, it's insanity themed, and I think this theme, the insanity, is also reflected musically, right? Because there's so many things going on in this song. Very technical, very cool song, great title. Everything about this song is great. And the last song on the first side, or side A, is The House of Lies, and this one has some really solid riffage going on, guitar riffage, and this is where you actually hear some of the Memento Mori elements. There's some Middle Eastern sounding guitar leads. It sounds pretty cool. It's generally fast paced. I love the chorus. Welcome to the House of Lies. It's probably my favorite song on the album. Certainly one of them. Some great lead guitar work here. And there are even some neoclassical leanings in some of the guitar work, which is, I guess, kind of suits this more technical, progressive style, right? But it sort of works with the sort of neoclassical leanings and the Middle Eastern leanings. Great balance, great song. Yeah, my favorite of the album, to be honest. So that's side A. Side B only has 3 songs. So, that means that one or more of them will be fairly long, and that is indeed the case. It starts out with a Temple for the Soul. It's an instrumental, and this is quite Memento Mori-ish. It has a Middle Eastern feel again. It sounds very, very epic, just like Memento Mori has epic elements to it as well. Great instrumental. The next one is The Eternal Nightmare, Act 1. I think Dream Theater have a song called Eternal Nightmare 2. Probably no connection. I kind of like it that it's called Act 1. There's no Act 2 in this album. It's fast, aggressive thrasher, and again they make use of stereo effects here to great use of them. And then you have the last one, the title track at the end of it, Edge of Eternity. That's the long song on this album. It's quite long. It's epic. It has a keyboard intro. Might be a bit cheesy. I don't know. It's okay. I mean, it's not too cheesy. There's some quite doom metal vibes to the song as well. So more Memento Mori. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Pretty much all the same members of this band were in Memento Mori. I mean, you got the same creativity, right? And the same main songwriter. So it kind of makes sense that there's some Memento Mori stuff. And that's one of the cool things about this album. Thrash metal, fast, progressive. Memento Mori, sort of like doom metal, traditional metal, epic, more mid-paced. But they got some common things. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. They're almost like sibling albums in a way, sister albums. I like it. It's listen to this one and Memento Mori right next to each other. It's probably going to be. I haven't done. I'm going to try that. I think that's going to be a very cool experience. Anyways, long epic Memento Mori vibe. There's also like a power thrashy vibe to it when it kicks in. Remember, this is a long song, so a lot of things can happen. A lot of things do happen. So there's a power thrasher sort of feel to it as well when it kicks in. It's really a musical journey, and I know it's like a tried metaphor, but that's really what it is. A lot of things going on. You got a nice acoustic kind of like breakdown interlude, and you also have some neoclassical leanings in this song, and there's even like a post-ending coda, so you think the song is done, and then a new part kicks in and leads you towards the exit. So only 8 tracks in this album, but 8 very good tracks, I would say. A musical journey for sure. A musical journey, excellent musicianship. I mean, I wouldn't say this is a musician's band, but certainly if you are a musician, you will appreciate it. If you're not a musician, you'll appreciate it equally, I think. Excellent musicianship, in my opinion. Great songwriting. They really understand how to make complex songs that are still aggressive, still sort of catchy, still capture your inner primeval caveman, the angry person or cave woman inside of you, cave person inside of you. They know how to sort of combine that with technical, sophisticated compositions. A lot of changes in tempo and in moods as well. Great, in that sense. A lot of elements of Memento Mori, as I said. So if you're a Memento Mori fan and you also happen to like thrash metal, you should check this one out. It is a challenging listen, to be sure, especially if you're more used to more. I don't use the term simple in a negative way. It just means music that's not super complex. But if you're used to more simple metal, more primitive thrash metal, or simple, hard rock or whatever, might be a challenging listen, but it's a welcome challenge, I would say. I enjoyed the challenge of listening to it. So I realized I forgot to say anything about the vocals on this Hexenhaus album. The vocals are sort of in the more melodic camp, so not quite Joey Belladonna, Steve Grimmett, not quite in that camp, but sort of in that direction. The vocals there's a slight raspy, aggressive feel to them, I think. And some people might find the vocals maybe a bit too reminiscent of the glam metal approach. I think that's unfair. The vocals, the way he delivers his singing is actually pretty good. It actually fits sort of this insanity oriented feel of the album. So it's a more clean singing, a bit of rock shouting, melodic vocals. I quite like the singing style. Not harsh vocals, melodic vocals. I just wanted to add that because I realized I forgot. It has some often not straightforward drum beats. That might also be a bit of a challenge, but I mean, it fits the overall technical progressive approach. So, I mean, personally, I think this is a great, more technical thrash metal album. I mean, it doesn't sound like Voivod, but if you're into Voivod, you might enjoy this as well. Doesn't sound like Target, Master Project Genesis, but if you're into Target, you might enjoy this as well, right? So what I'm trying to say is if you like technical thrash metal, technical power thrash too, like Realm, Voivod, Target, maybe even Invocator, although it doesn't sound like Invocator at all. But, you know, it's in that sort of same spirit, you know, technical, a lot of things going on, treating the listener to musical journeys. If you like that, if you can find a copy of it, pick it up. Even if it's, like mine, a bit warped. You know, pick it up, give it a listen. Or check it out if you can find it on Spotify or something. Check it out. I mean, thrash metal fans, especially prog tech thrash metal fans, I think they're gonna like this one a lot. So I hope you enjoyed watching me ramble on about this album here, Hexenhaus, The Edge of Eternity. Thanks for watching.